to reach the sea. Written by Monica Dickens, read for you by Edward E.French. It cost $250. When Jane Barlow took courage to question the price, Monsieur Marmaduke, who had made it, said, "I am an artist, madame, a very sensitive man. Is madame trying to say it is not worth it?" And it was worth it. She wore the wig that evening, blue-black, shining, superb. The party was a little depressing. So when someone said, "I've been admiring your hair all evening," she took off the wig for a joke, and things were gayer. Then she put it on again and presently asked her husband to take her home because the gaiety had evaporated. She loved the wig. It sat on a stand like Marie Antoinette's severed head, and when she wore it she saw women look at her as she came into a room, and she could see them wondering, is it or isn't it? Either way, they were envious. Before long, however, the wig began to worry her. It didn't look right any more. There was too much of it, and her face looked small. She took it back to Monsieur Marmaduke and told him, "I think it needs redressing. There's something wrong with it." "I am an artist, madame. There can be nothing wrong." But when she called for it a week later, he admitted, "I think it is a finished creation, but there was a little too much hair. I have taken a soupçon off here, a flick off here. It is now perfect." Jane wore it that night, and it was perfect. "Like living hair," John said. John was not her husband, but the man she wished she had met first. "It pales and narrows your face to a kind of tragic beauty." Jane laughed, because they must never look as if they were talking seriously in corners. But she did feel a little tragic. They had agreed to be gay and sophisticated about their situation, but tonight it seemed to be closing in on her. Her husband looked at her admiringly across the room, and she felt afraid. Jane came home after a month's holiday, not caring that her hair was a wreck from the sun and sea, because the wig was waiting. But the very first time she wore it, it seemed wrong again. She set it in pin curls on the severed head, left it for a week, then tried it on late at night after her husband was asleep. She sat in front of her dressing table staring with dark, strange eyes at the white face dwarfed by the glorious mass of black hair. There was no doubt about it, absolutely no doubt at all. The wig was growing. She snatched it off and put it quickly back on the dummy head in the box. It was her imagination. It must be. She left it on the shelf for 3 weeks. Then one night, with a beating heart, she put it on again. "I am going mad," she thought. In a panic, she took scissors and hacked at the hair, gathering up the fallen bits in newspaper and running down to burn them in the furnace. The wig was unwearable now, lopsidedly chopped. She wept, the uncontrollable sobs shaking her long after she had stuffed the box back on the shelf and gone brokenly to bed. "Why do you never wear that expensive wig?" her husband asked. And John said, irked by her moodiness when they met in the discreetly shadowed bar, "Don't let yourself go, Janie. Put on that gorgeous wig again, and sparkle." She went to another hairdresser, not Monsieur Marmaduke, and had her hair deepened in color and teased into a huge frame for her nervous white face, and asked her husband, "How does the wig look?" For no one must ever know she could not wear it. She would not look at it. Every time she opened the closet, her eyes flew to the tall box on the shelf. Her hands went up impulsively, but she forced them down. She waited another 2 months. When her husband was away, she took down the box and opened it. It was not a shock. It was with a sigh of submissive recognition that she saw that the hair had grown at least 2 inches, uneven, ragged at the ends, but well below her ears when she put the wig on. She went out and walked about the streets for half the night, not knowing where she went, knowing only that she was looking for something she would never find. Many nights in the following months, when her husband was asleep, she would put on the growing wig and slip out of the house to wander through the streets, across the bridges, along the river wall, the long, unkempt black hair shrouding her back and shoulders and half veiling her face. They found her in the river, one cold dawn, her own hair strung like seaweed across her dead face. A boy digging for bait found the wig, caught under a jetty, its long hair floating out in the murky water to try to reach the sea. "It will cost, madame, $250. "All right," said the customer, "but where does the hair come from?" "Northern Italy. I used to get beautiful black hair from Sicily, but I will not buy from that salesman any more. He told me, madame, about a girl, the young bride of a rich old man. When the old man found her with her lover, he knifed the boy and threw the body from a boat into the sea. Then he cut off all his wife's long black hair, the way they did in the war, for fraternizing. The young bride walked out into the sea, crazy with sorrow, looking for her lover. The salesman bought the hair. What a pig! How could I buy any more from such a brute? I am an artist, madame. A very sensitive man.